6 bombshells from Epstein emails. As new Trump and Andrew details emerge, over 20,000 pages of emails and photographs surrounding Jeffrey Epstein have been released, including a number that mention Donald Trump, the former Prince Andrew, and Peter Mandelson. Thousands of Epstein emails have been released by lawmakers in the United States, and they make difficult treading for Donald Trump. The 20,000 pages of documents were made public last night after the estate of late pedophile financier turned them over to the House Oversight Committee, a panel made up of Democrat and Republican members of Congress. It includes one revealing email from Epstein to socialite Ghislaine Maxwell in April 2011, which describes Trump as the dog that hasn't barked, and claims he spent hours at my house. The former Prince Andrew also resurfaces in the emails, telling Epstein he had nothing to do with sex abuse claims against him and begging him to say so. Here's 6 things that we've learned from the new Epstein emails. Trump allegedly knew about girls. The email sent from Epstein to Maxwell, who was later convicted of trafficking underage girls, refers to Trump as the dog that hasn't barked. "I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump," Epstein wrote. In another message from January 2019 to author Michael Wolff, Epstein wrote, "Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop." The emails came to light as part of an ongoing congressional investigation into the Epstein files and the Trump administration's alleged backtracking on earlier promises to make them public. Last night, Donald Trump claimed in a post on his Truth Social platform that the Democrats are using the Jeffrey Epstein hoax to try and deflect from their massive failures, such as the government shutdown. Trump has always denied any suggestion he knew about Epstein's crimes, insisting the pair had a falling out years before the financier's 2019 suicide in a New York jail. U.S. President spent hours at Epstein's home with unnamed victim. In another part of the same email from 2011, Epstein said an unnamed victim spent hours at my house with Trump, adding that he has never once been mentioned in coverage about the case. Ghislaine Maxwell replied, "I have been thinking about that." The White House later put out a statement saying the unnamed victim was Virginia Giuffre. Repeated Ly said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever. Epstein made jokes about Trump's beauty pageants. Another newly released email exchange shows Michael Wolff telling Epstein he was interviewing Trump that afternoon. Wolff wrote, "Anything you think I should ask? Do you want to be provocative?" Epstein replied before listing suggestions, including Trump Shuttle, Trump's defunct airline, and Hawaiian, tropic contests, a reference to a beauty pageant. Infamous Andrew and Virginia photo is real. Jeffrey Epstein told a journalist that the infamous photograph of Andrew and Virginia Giuffre was real, another email revealed. He told the reporter, "Yes, she, Virginia, was on my plane, and yes, she had her picture taken with Andrew, as many of my employees have. Andrew has always denied any accusations of wrongdoing." Andrew told Epstein he had nothing to do with abuse claims. Andrew insisted he had nothing to do with sex abuse claims against him and Jeffrey Epstein, and begged the financier to say so. "Hey there," Andrew wrote, "what's all this? I don't know anything about this. You must say so, please. This has nothing to do with me. I can't take any more of this." Peter Mandelson urged Epstein not to speak to BBC. Peter Mandelson, who was sacked by Keir Starmer in September, also surfaces in the emails. Britain's former ambassador to the U.S. urged Jeffrey Epstein not to agree to an interview with the BBC, according to newly released documents. Among a cache of 20,000 documents and photographs published by the House Oversight Committee is the email where Mandelson advises against doing the interview. A request from BBC Radio 4's Today program was made to Epstein's attorney Jack Goldberger for an interview about stories which are recirculating, however inaccurately, about both him and Prince Andrew, the Duke of York. Goldberger forwarded the email chain first to Epstein, who forwarded it to Mandelson. Mandelson, who was sacked in September over his friendship with Epstein, replied, "No." In September, Lord Mandelson said he felt utterly awful about my association with Epstein 20 years ago and the plight of his victims. Mandelson, who was sacked in September over his friendship with Epstein, replied, "No." In September, Lord Mandelson said he felt utterly awful about my association with Epstein 20 years ago and the plight of his victims.